It's time for our May wrap up. Our May wrap up. Our May wrap up. I missed you guys in my hair. I feel like every time I come on camera, I'm like complaining about my hair because it's just, oof. I'm doing a wrap up today. And guys, it's been a fantastic reading month. Hi friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in today. I am so excited. We're doing our May reading wrap up today, and guys, I had a really good reading month. A like spectacular reading month as far as like the quality of books I read. Sorry, you know guys, what's my video without Starbucks, you know? I gotta have the Starbucks. But yes, we are, well, I'm filming this today, and you guys, I have like been, I literally think I have the zoomies. Like, I have the zoomies. I don't know what you call it in human terms, but I have the zoomies. Then we're gonna go ahead and start talking about these books. They're in no particular order. I don't think. Well, actually, I probably will do them in order. Let's see. Let me pull up my little tracker. Found my little tracker. Guys, I just always find my little templates on Pinterest or Bookstagram. They're so cute. Thank you to everyone who makes these templates, because Lord knows I don't got it in me. I don't have it in me to sit and make that template. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Starting out for my very first book, which I actually did the audio version of this book, but I had to get the series, which this was actually in my book haul as well. But I read the first book of the Never King series, and guys, I was very highly in my like reimagining like world, because I had read Hooked last month, and then I read Scarred, and so I was like, ooh, I really loved Hooked, and so I was like, let me find another Peter Pan like reimagining. And I seen so much on this book, and actually I did not realize it was this small like when I purchased it. I don't know why, I just thought it would be a thicker book, but it's not. In the front it's like not even like super small, but it is a good little like quick read. Like I said, I did the audio version, and I think I gave this one a 4, maybe 3.5. Let's go to Goodreads, because Lord knows I can't remember. Like, I do not remember at all. Let's see. Okay, I gave it a 3 stars, but now that I think about it, I will say like I ran up to a 3.5. It was good. Like I said, it didn't really give me the same feeling Hooked did, which I was looking for that feeling. But nevertheless, it was still a very good book. It is very smutty. Like, I will say, it's like, I did not expect that going in. And I also didn't expect like the reverse harem thing. I'm still trying to get used to the reverse harem. Like, it's not my favorite trope, you know? It's still kind of, I don't know, it's still very much like something I'm trying to get used to when I read it, because a lot of times, like a lot of the reverse harems I've read, I stop reading like in the middle of them. Like, I tried Tangled in Tinsel. I've tried, what else have I tried? I tried Triple Duty Bodyguards, which I do want to go back to that one, because that one was really like, it was good. But yeah, for some reason I just like, I feel like the only reverse harem that I've been able to like really finish, and I don't even know if you would consider this a reverse harem, but well, yeah, but Credence by Penelope Douglas. That's like one of probably, and at the time I didn't even know that was reverse harem. Like, I wasn't really into the trope thing. So yes, I am still trying to get used to that for sure. Still definitely trying to get used to that trope or whatever. But like I said, for what it was, 3.5 stars, I say, is probably what I'll give that one. Guys, this is the book that has put me in my like cowboy romance era. If you guys don't know, I live in Nashville, and you know, Nashville is like, I guess, known for their country music, and it's like very much like cowboy-esque like, I don't want to say it's like, it's not country, but it is country. Like, Nashville is very much like evolving into like more of a like city that I don't even know how to explain it, but I don't know. When I like first moved to Nashville, which I moved here for my job originally, but like, I don't know, I just didn't expect what like people used to know it for. That's not like what I know it for. So yeah, but without the rumbling, I read Rewrite Our Story by Kat Singleton. Guys, this book literally single-handedly put me in such a cowgirl era. Like, I ended up buying, and I feel like I read this so long ago, guys, but I bought cowgirl boots, I bought a cowgirl hat, like literally I went line dancing. Like, there was so many things that this book made me do, and that alone, automatically it gets 5 stars. But honestly, it's more than 5 stars for me. And like I said, this is my very first cowboy romance, but can I like move to a small town now and can like I live this life? Like, and then first of all, can we talk about the cover? Like, the cover is just gorgeous. This is the alternative cover. The original cover is very cute. I do like it, and it's on my Kindle, but I gotta say, you know, when we do physical covers, it just has to be, it has to be this beautiful one. Like, I freaking loved it. And luckily I was able to read the ARC, so thank you, Kat, for sending me the ARC. I truly am grateful. And guys, I like, oh, I'm like, I need to transfer my annotations from my Kindle to the actual book because I freaking loved it. And then I love, like, I don't know why, I love when like books do like the chapter page different, and then like you see it in here, like you see the darks of it. Like, I don't know, I just really like that. It just gives it a nice little aesthetic to me. But yes, like I said, 5 stars. And I don't want to ruin it for you guys, but like I said, I'm just giving you the gist. But yeah, it is a cowboy romance, and it's basically her best friend's brother, and they've like known each other since they were kids. They've always had this friendship, and they actually never date. Now that I think about it, they never actually date, but they have like, well, they do have this one summer where they're like really like, they really go like for what they want, and you can basically say they are together. But then an opportunity comes and she goes, and yeah, but she ends up not, like, she goes away and she doesn't come back for years. And then so there's an event that happens where she comes back, and they basically meet each other again. They have to, you know, not meet each other because they always known each other, but they basically have to reconnect, and literally everything about it is beautiful. And then also I really like it because the main female character, she's a writer. And guys, I love when like we read books about authors. Like, I don't know, it's just something about it that I really love. Like when you think about it, like the girl that wrote this book, or the woman that wrote this book, she's an author too, so like she relates to this character. I don't know, does this make sense, guys? let me drink some coffee because I'm rambling right now. Starbucks never fails. Never ever fails. Okay, so I read Meet Me at the Lake, and if you guys don't know, what was I going to say? I just lost my train of thought. But Every Summer After, I really love that book. I know people say it's like a knockoff of Love in Other Words. I have not read Love in Other Words yet, but if you guys don't know, it is on my summer TBR. So stay tuned for that because I cannot wait to read it. But yes, I really loved Every Summer After. So when I saw that she was coming out with this book, I had to have it. It's been on my my Amazon pre-order list for the longest, and I could not wait for this day to come. So I actually read it immediately as soon as I got it. And what did I give it? Let me go to my Goodreads. I want to say, when I think about it now, I want to say 4 stars, and I think that's what I gave it. Yeah, I gave it 4 stars. Okay, so I do like Every Summer After better. They aren't interconnected or anything like that. They're not real. They're 2 completely separate books. But it's basically about this couple. Well, not even this couple. This boy and this girl. What's their names? Fern and Will. Fern and Will, they meet each other in Canada. Well, that's where like the story is based, but they meet each other when like at a coffee shop that she works at. He's an artist at the time, and they end up having like this great day together, like basically exploring the city before she leaves. And then after, like, they exchange numbers, and they decide that they're gonna meet at like her family's like lake, like her family's resort. But he never shows up. And then years later, he ends up coming back into the picture to actually do work on the lake for her mom. And you know, she's like obviously like wondering like the questions, like why he never showed up, like what happened, because they never talked. They didn't have each other's numbers or anything like that, and the whole point was like to meet at the lake and they'll see where they go from there. So for him not to show up, obviously she was very bitter about it. Only thing I think that kept this one from being 5 stars, it wasn't even that, like, I honestly don't even know, it just didn't give me that 5-star feeling. Like Every Summer After, I gave 5 stars. I absolutely love that one, but there was just something about this one. Like, I think the main male character, there was just something off about him that didn't just, like, I don't know, I just wasn't feeling him. And then Fern, like, she had her own issues, and I don't know, it was a beautiful story, it was well written, it just didn't give me that 5-star feeling. That's like really all I can say about it. I do love Carly's writing, so that's like, it was like what I expected it to be, but it didn't. If I had to choose between that and Every Summer After, I'm choosing Every Summer After. Charlie Loving Cliches, guys. There's so many pink books this month, and I absolutely love it. But Charlie Loving Cliches, I gave this one 5 stars. And I think yes, 5 stars. This is actually my first book by Ella Mays. I do have a few of her other books, and I cannot wait to read them now. But I actually was sent an ARC of this book, and I absolutely devoured this book. I loved it. I didn't know what to expect, but I could tell like by the cover that it was going to be like a cute romance, like a little rom-com probably. And man, gosh, Charlie and what's his name, William, Charlie and William, guys, this was just such a cute story. And it's so crazy because I read Meet Me at the Lake and then I read this one, and it's kind of funny how they kind of have like the same like gist almost. Like basically these two people, they meet, like two strangers, and they meet and they just like instantly have this connection. And they actually, the way this one goes, like plays out, they meet in a diner, and so they basically keep like coming to the diner. Like they never make plans to meet each other at the diner, but like after that first day, they both just kept coming to meet at the diner, hoping that like the other person would be there. And so that went on for a while for them, but then like one day she shows up and he doesn't show up, but they never like had plans, you know, they never had plans to meet up. So it wasn't like, oh, like he promised me he will come, but it was like a routine for them. They had like already like kept coming, kept seeing each other, and kept having like these great conversations and stuff. And so eventually, you know, she moves on. Her family, her dad and her sister are not the supportive people in her life at all. Even her grandmother, like her grandmother's a little bit more tolerable, but not very much. And it's just, she really didn't have anyone in her corner, to like be honest. She didn't have anyone in her corner. She only had her best friend that like lived like in California, and then I think she lived in New York. I think it was New York she lived in, and then she had like a few friends in her office. But yeah, it was, she could tell she like lived a very like lonely life almost, and she was determined to like move out to another city. And William, like I said, he just never showed back up, and they never talk. She doesn't like, you know, try to figure out where he is or anything like that. And the place she works at, her dad owns the company, and they bring in William. They're basically, their role, they're like, what do you call them? They're consultants, but they're they like help people, like image consultants, I guess you can say almost, but they help people who like basically have like had their image like tarnished or whatever, and they help people like bring it, like get their image back together. And so it turns out William has become very successful in that business, and he's like become really known. And so her dad hires him, and she has no idea. Her dad doesn't even know that like they know each other. And so she's shocked, he's shocked, like everybody's shocked. And she like, the only thing, Charlie like really annoyed me in parts because, but like I think that made me love it even more because she was just like this shy little girl, like not even little girl, but she was just this shy woman who just like, I feel like her shyness brought attention to her. Like when like the book starts, like she ends up like having balloons tied to her because she was getting balloons for someone, and like that whole scene in the beginning, like she's like running on her desk, like trying to hide from people. But I'm like, Charlie, sweetheart, you're making it worse on yourself. You're making yourself noticeable. And I felt like that happened so many times for her, and I was just like, Charlie, what are you doing, girl? What are you doing? But yes, they eventually end up having, you know, end up coming together and, you know, really start building a friendship, and it turns into more, and it is a happy ever after ending. I had a lot of happily ever after endings this month. I think that's probably what did it for me. Like I had a lot of happy endings, but yeah, I think I had all happy endings now that I think about it. Yeah, pretty much all happy endings, guys. That's probably why like I'm so excited about these books. But yes, like I said, 5 stars, so cute. And the back says it's perfect for fans of Elena and Allie Hazelwood. Yes, I totally agree. If you guys don't know, I've read The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas, and then I read The Love Hypothesis by Allie Hazelwood, and they're actually both fake dating now that I think about it. Those are both fake dating. But this one is not fake dating. This one is not fake dating at all. But yes, like I said, I freaking love this book. Ella Mays, you did so good. I cannot wait to read more of your writing. But next we have I'll Always Be With You by Monica Murphy. And guys, you guys know I always say "and guys" a lot, but I freaking love this world, the Lancaster Prep world. Like chef's kiss, like A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime. Yeah, that's like literally one of my favorite books. Crew and Ren will always have my heart. I love Birthday Kisses. And guys, they actually make appearances in these books. They make an appearance in this book, and I literally squealed. Like whenever I see their names, I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like, can we just like do a petition to get like a book with them and West and what's her name? Gosh, what is her name? What is her name? I never remember names. Guys, I'm gonna figure this out. Carolina, there we go. West and Carolina, can we like get a book with them and with Crew and Ren like together? Because they're not far in age. They're only 2 years apart. So like I can definitely see like a family trip, because they actually like they become friends with them in this book. But yes, I freaking love this book. The main male character, he's not a Lancaster, but he is like, Crew was the last one, like the last Lancaster to attend the school. So West has like built his way up to become like the most popular guy, since he doesn't have a Lancaster to compete with. And Carolina is a Lancaster, but she actually lives in Europe, I think is where she lives. London, she lives somewhere. And the last thing she wants is to have to go to Lancaster Prep, but she actually ends up having to come her senior year, stop her ballet program and come there. And her and West actually, guys, this is a trend. I'm noticing a trend here, but they actually have one day in Paris together. Is it Paris? Guys, it's somewhere. I don't know, but they end up having a day in the summer together, and they end up like really connecting. Like obviously we have a trend about these one days, like it's a trend this month apparently, but they have this one day together, and she actually, well, he tells her that like he's graduated, and obviously she like tells him she's a senior, and he knows who she is. Like he knows that she's a Lancaster, and I mean she doesn't know who he is, but his family is like very known, like in like his family deals in wine. His family's like like really known for like the wines that they make. But yeah, so obviously with her coming to Lancaster, she's very shocked to see him because she thought that he was graduated. They didn't like have any contact like after that one day. Like he left and that was that. So they never actually ended up reconnecting. And when she comes to Lancaster Prep, obviously she's very shocked. She feels lied to because she's like, well, you told me you graduated. And so it's all about basically them, you know, building a friendship and a relationship, I guess you can say, from that one day that they had in Paris. And West is like known to be a player. He's known to be, you know, just with girls. Every girl wants him. He's made his way up to the top of the food chain at the school. And you know, she's a Lancaster, and typically when Lancasters come, they are automatically like the head honcho of the school, but that's the last thing she wants. Like she doesn't want anything that like the Lancaster name gives her when it comes to the prep school. And yeah, so that's like, I said, I loved it. I loved it. I know some people don't like the way, like, since it's like high school, like how the book is written, but like, I don't know, my high school experience was not like that at all. So I just, I love that world. And I can also like really go, I think, I know for sure there's going to be another book, but I can definitely reread that book. Like I actually like started listening to the audiobook of A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime because I was like, I miss this world so much. Like once I finished that book, I was like in a book slump for like the Lancaster Prep world, and I was like, what can I do like to get me out? So I like literally just started listening to A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime on Libby. So I just started listening to it on Libby and I freaking loved it. Okay, next we have, okay, so now we're switching gears a little bit. We're done with the one day, with the one random day together. Well, not totally, but we're almost done. But the next book I read was Vicious, and I actually started reading this one because if you guys don't know, Rachel Catherine has like talked about this series so much. It's a duology, and I actually really love The Invisible Life of Addie LaRae. I love the Schwab's writing, so I was like, you know, why not try it? Why not give it a go? Let's see. Because her books, at least like The Invisible Life of Addie LaRae, it's romance, but it's not romance. Like there's romance in there, but honestly it's like more of like a subplot of romance. And her books really focus more on like the fantasy part of it, I guess you can say, like the mystery part of it. And I really like that, even though like, yes, I am a big romance reader. I feel like her writing is one person's writing that like I can like read and still enjoy when there's like really no romance in there. And like I said, this one is like there's really no romance. Like romance is like not even a subplot. It's not even there, honestly. But this book is literally amazing. I cannot wait to read Vengeful this month. I'm like, I know I'm gonna read that in June. Like that's on my June TBR or my June hopefuls. But yeah, this one is set in, it's not even set in like an academic world, but you basically have these two people and they're, well, of course I can't, Victor and Eli, of course I can't remember their names, but Victor and Eli are in college and they're actually working on their thesis project. And Eli's thesis project, he wants to basically explore extraordinaries, and extraordinaries are these people that basically have a near death experience, but they survive it, but they end up having like a special power, and each person gets like a different power. And they actually found out kind of like how their power, like depending on like what their near death experience was, it determines on like what power they get. And Eli basically goes on this research, and him and Victor actually end up trying to test the theory. So they both try to put themselves in near death life experiences, and they both come out with powers, but one person uses their power for bad, another person tries to use it for good. And yeah, it's like there's betrayal because one of them betrays each other. And yeah, it's just really, I just really love the way it was written. I love like it was like a book that like kept me like intrigued. Like it kept me like hooked the entire time. And I truly enjoyed it. I think I gave this one 5 stars as well. Yeah, 5 stars as well. So definitely worth it. Definitely worth the read. And if you guys are like big romance people, I promise you, you are still gonna like this one. I love V. Schwab's writing. 4 years later, yeah, 4 years later, and this is the second book in a duology. They do go together. You don't have to read the first book, which I did not. I do have it now, but I was like, well, if they're saying you don't have to read it, and this is the sad part of the book, the sad part of the like that world, I want to read this one. And I gave this one 4 stars, I think, 4 or 5 stars. 4 stars. And when I think about it, it did have potential to be a 5 star. I just, something was missing in it. I think because it just did make me cry. Like, it made me feel very emotional, but it did not make me sob, and I think that's probably why I just knocked it to 4 stars. But Emma and, not Emma, that's the author's name, but Becca and Ryan, they are they've been a couple since high school, and they are in college now. Ryan is this very big like football star, and Becca is at another school. Actually, they don't go to the same school, and Ryan really wanted them to go to the same school, and all of that, the normal separated after high school, want to be together through college. But Ryan is very close to the NFL draft. Like, he's predicted to be one of the #1 draft picks, and Becca, she is very like secure in like not wanting to stop her life because of Ryan. And she loves him, he loves her, they have a beautiful relationship. And you can like, there's so many moments like where like his girlfriends are like, oh yeah, we're moving here for like him, and Becca is just like, why would you put your life like on hold? Why are you gonna follow him? Don't you have dreams of your own? And like, Becca doesn't know what she wants to do with her life, but she knows she like wants to find out what she wants to do before she just like picks up her life for her boyfriend, because he's gonna be drafted to the NFL. But she, like I said, she goes to a different school, and the school she goes to, their football star is actually the top rival against Ryan. Like, he's just as good. They're always pinned up against each other, and he finds out that she is Ryan's girlfriend, and he is known, he's known to obviously be with a lot of girls. By the way, Ryan is like extremely faithful to her. Ryan is like head over heels for her. But he finds out that she's Ryan's girlfriend, and he is like making it a mission now to like be with her, like rather it be, you know, just for spite. Like, it's very clear that he's doing it out of spite, but also like he's just kind of known to be that kind of guy that wants to be with all the girls anyway. But yeah, he pretty much forces himself with her, and the way he really plots it to make it look like she cheated, and things go really south. Ryan finds out. Ryan doesn't know the truth. Ryan's very mad, doesn't listen to her, so she never really gets to tell him the truth. But then it comes to a point where she just doesn't tell anyone, and yeah, she doesn't tell anyone what happens until I think maybe 1.5 years later. And once Ryan finds out, you know, things, obviously he's like very apologetic and things like that. I do recommend you guys look up the trigger warnings for this. I will say it does have a happy ever after ending, even with all of that, and it doesn't like come easily. Like, the happy ending, like when you think the happy ending is gonna come, it doesn't come. Like, you still have to like keep going to like actually get that happy ending. So yeah, I really enjoyed this though. But like I said, if you do have like triggers, I highly recommend you look at the trigger warnings. But yeah, like I said, overall 4 stars. Okay, this is a Kindle read, so I'm gonna have to put the cover here. But this is another arc that I read, but it was Off-Ice Collision, and I actually read what was that one called? I read, guys, it's the 7th book in the series. I read it like 2 months ago. Coast to Coast. I read that arc, and I really loved that book. I gave it 4 stars, and so Off-Ice Collision I also gave 4 stars, and that's the final book in this series. And she started a new series. It is a hockey romance, but this book, compared to Coast, it's very different. So each book follows a different guy, and the guys don't know each other. They're not like friends, like it's not an interconnected series. Like each book can be read as a standalone, but it's all part of the same college. But off coast, guys, off ice, yes, off ice. So the guy's like the hockey player, his name is Vaughn, and he has a really bad injury to where he can't, like his hockey career is done with. Like he cannot do hockey anymore. So he hits this very low point in his life. He is depressed. He like literally doesn't do anything for like a year or so. So his parents decide that they want to send him to their lake house. And he grew up there as a child, so it's not unfamiliar territory for him, but he's mad at the world. He doesn't want anything to do with anybody, but he goes there for the summer, and the people that live next door to him, like when he was younger, they still live next door, and so he's very like familiar with who they are. And so the girl, the sister, because they're actually twins, the boy and girl twin, but the sister London is the one that he like really had something with, I guess. Like it never explains, like they never had a relationship in the past. They were always just friends, but you can tell that there was like something more there, I guess you can say. And I feel like the only reason I feel like I couldn't give it 5 stars because it did feel kind of insta-lovey, but also like you do like it is shared that like they had a connection like back then, but like they never acted on that connection. It just remained like as a friendship connection. But I don't know, there was something that made me just feel like it was too insta-lovey. It was too fast. Like I wish we just had more of a backstory of the two. Like, you know, there wasn't enough backstory for me. But anyways, London helps Vaughn get out of this rut, and he decides to like, she just really helps him get his life back on track. She's like a fixer. She loves to fix people, and in a way she kind of goes into it seeing Vaughn as a project, but like she knows it's not a project. Like there's obviously interest there. They end up connecting and all of that. So yes, it once again happy ending. But yeah, that's the only thing I think that kept me from giving it a 5 stars. It was just the insta love. It just felt kind of insta lovey, even though it says they had a relationship in the past, like they had a really close friendship. Something about it was still screaming insta love to me. So that is why I had to give it a 4 stars. But I do love Callie's writing. Her writing, like when I read Coast to Coast, it was a very easy book to read, even with Off Ice, even though it dealt with like serious mental health issues, like things that we go through in life. It was still like, it wasn't too heavy for me. Like it was still very much like a light read in a way, the way she wrote it. So I really do like that, because not many authors can write on such a serious topic where you still get the message, but it also like doesn't, it's not too heavy, if that makes sense. You guys didn't know, I read When in Rome in my 24-hour like reading challenge, and I really did like that world. Sarah Adams, the way she just writes rom-coms, like literally just has me blushing from ear to ear when I read it. And like this book, I actually like this book more than I like When in Rome. Even though I loved When in Rome, this book here, I like literally like could not read like so much in one sitting because my cheeks were hurting from smiling too much. Like that's how like blushy she made me feel writing this book. But it's practice makes perfect, and oh my goodness. So like I said, it's a part of the same world, part of the same like series, but it's all based in Rome, and this focuses on Annie and the bodyguard, which is Will. So if you guys didn't read When in Rome, you have Amelia and Amelia and Noah. So they're together, but Amelia is this big star, so that's where the bodyguard part comes in here, because he's Amelia's bodyguard. And Annie is like the youngest sister of Noah, and basically she's like, people don't really expect much of her like when it comes to romance, and she just has like, she puts this facade on. I wouldn't even say a facade, but like she's just known to be like the sweet innocent sister or whatever. So Amelia actually decides to help her like get a date, because she's like feels like she's horrible at first dates, and so Will ends up being her dating coach, and things go from there, you know. to be a dating coach of someone you really want to be with, but you know you don't want to do relationships. You guys can see, you know, like I said, happy ever after ending. And literally it's like, oh, I like still get giddy thinking about this book. It was just literally the cutest thing in the world. This book, and by the time this is up, you guys will already see the vlog, but I read Twisted Games this month, and Infinity Stars. Anna has done it again. If you guys don't know, Twisted Love was on my 5-star reads video, and it will always be a 5 stars for me. And Twisted Games is just as good. Like, literally, I am like trying my best not to pick up Twisted Hate immediately. I'm trying to like drag this world out, but I think I may have to read Twisted Hate this month. I feel like I have to. It's just kind of hard not to. But Bridget and Reese, oh my gosh, I love them just as much as I love Alex and Ava. And it's just, my heart, like, oh my gosh, like, I did annotate this book. This was actually the only book that well, a lot of books I read on my Kindle this month, but I did annotate this one because I read this one, like, I read the paperback version of it. So I was annotating a lot, and I just love when I annotate books because it just makes you like really sit in the book and like really dwell on it and like what you liked about it. But this is Bodyguard. Oh gosh, I just did another Bodyguard. Guys, there's a trend going on this month with the books I read. But yes, this is a Bodyguard and princess, and it is a forbidden romance. She's a princess about to be a queen, and obviously she has to marry someone of noble blood. The Bodyguard is not of noble blood. But there's a little twist. There's a little twist. We find some twist in here, guys. But yes, that's all I'm gonna say about this book, because if you watch my vlog if you guys want to see like my reactions while I was reading this book, because it's worth it. I love this book. Like I said, 5 stars. Cannot wait. Infinity Stars, actually. Cannot wait to read the next book in the series, and hopefully I don't put myself in a slump, because I feel like Anna's books can put me in a slump easily because they're so good, and I get on such a high after reading them, and I'm always looking for something to like give me that same feeling. And there's not many books that like give me the same feelings her books does. Like, it's just something the way she writes. I don't know, I can't even tell you the feeling, but like it's just like this, I don't even know, guys. Just know her books are worth it. If you have not read anything by Anna, I highly recommend you start with Twisted Love. Like, please, if you take anything from her, like, if you read anything from her, just start with Twisted Love. Just start with Twisted Love. This book here, guys, I never do this, but I actually messaged the author of this book to tell her how much I love this book. I did not think I would like this book as much as I did. Like, it was literally like one that's like been on my Amazon wish list, and I was just like, oh, it's on Kindle Unlimited too, like let me go ahead and start it. And I was shooketh. I was shooketh to my core with this book. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So I read Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan, and guys, I'm serious when I say I messaged her. Like, I messaged her on Instagram, and I was like, Kennedy, Miss Ma'am. Oh gosh, she replied to me. She replied. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. She replied, guys. Oh my goodness. Oh my freaking goodness. So if you guys can't tell my reaction, this is definitely a 5-star read. Probably, honestly, Infinity Stars. Like, I had so many 5 to Infinity Star books this month, and I'm not mad at it. But like I said, also along with the trend we went with this month, you have these two people, Iris. You have Iris and August, and they have this one, well, August is college player getting ready to go to the NBA. He is predicted to be the #1 draft pick. He is that guy. He's that guy. And he goes to this bar like the day before his like last game just to clear his head. Like, he's not going to like look for girls. He's not going to really get a drink. He's really just going to not be in his room and overthink about things. And so then he meets Iris, and Iris is also in school at a different school, but she's in, like, she lives in that town. Yeah, she lives in that town. And he like they connect at this bar. They talk about so many things. They both have a lot of things in common. Just the way they grew up, like they both felt kind of like they didn't really have a place to fit in, and they just literally just talk for hours and hours and hours. Like literally just this, you know, when you have that person that you can just talk to and the conversation just flows so easily, like that was them. And so at the end of the night, they decide to go, you know, well, he doesn't want to go the separate ways, but she tells him that she has a boyfriend. She doesn't tell him who the boyfriend is, but you know, so nothing, they never kiss or anything like that, like, but obviously there's that connection. They both can't deny it, there's that connection. So the game is the next day, and we find out that her boyfriend is actually his rival. The boyfriend is the one other basketball player that they pin him up against, that they always compare to each other. Like literally, like they do not like each other, and it's not even like there's nothing bad that happened between them right now. Like in the beginning of the book, like that part at that moment, it's really just like a competition, like who's better, who's the best player. That's really what it comes to. But after the game, he finds out that she's the girlfriend of his rival, and her boyfriend picks up on it. His name is Caleb, and he picks up on the connection that they have. He sees it. He's not oblivious to it. But also he's a guy where he's territorial, and he honestly, August is better than him in basketball. I'm just gonna put that out there. He is definitely better than him. And Caleb knows that August is better than him. Like August literally beat him in that game. But so like for him to know that like his girlfriend is the one girl that August wants, like that gives him, like, he feels extra good about that. And so he really uses that to his advantage. He really manipulates and lies, and it's really sad how it all happens, but it gets to a point Iris is basically trapped with Caleb as he goes to the NBA. And she's also like the kind of girl, she doesn't want to stop her life for any guy. The way she grew up, her mom did enough of that, and she like refuses to be like her mother, refused to have to depend on a guy to support for her. So after college, like, she really has a plan, but Caleb wants her to follow him wherever he gets drafted to. And so in order to do that, in order to force her to do that, he manipulates and really does something super bad, like super crazy, in order to ensure that like she has to follow him. And so over this course of time, her and August, they only have 3 different encounters, but each time you can see like their connection just growing more and more. Like, they're not like meeting up or anything. Like, literally the only time that they have ever like met each other, like saw each other, was in a public place, and like they didn't expect to see each other there. But there is one instance where during a game against August and against August and Caleb, they end up like Caleb ends up seeing like their connection. Like, there's this stare down, and Caleb does some really crappy stuff and basically finds a way to injure August in a dirty play, and that's when things really go south. And so Caleb and Iris, like, y'all, it's crazy. It really gets crazy. I don't want to put any spoilers out there, but yeah, it gets crazy. But the story goes on, and that's all I can say. If I say any more, it's just gonna be, guys, read this book. Read this book. And like I said, I'm currently reading the extended epilogue now, but if I don't want to tell the extended epilogue, because then you guys are gonna know what happens. But I will say, if you do have triggers, definitely look up the trigger warnings. But if you do not have triggers, if there is anything you take from this video, go into this book blind. If you can, like, if you don't have triggers, and if you can just go into a book and not worry, please do yourself the favor of going into this blind. I literally like cannot express how much I think I enjoyed this book more because I did not like know what was going to happen. Read the book. Read the book. Like I said, if you don't take anything else from this video, read this book. Promise me you guys are going to read this book. Like, you have to. If you have not read it, please. That is all the books I read this month. I read 12, because I am counting the extended epilogue, which I'm gonna finish tonight. And honestly, my thoughts are the same. Read that as well. Read that book. But yes, I love you guys, and thank you for watching me ramble and talk about all these freaking books that like just stole my heart this month. Like I said, we definitely have a little trend going on about like the books I read this month. There's obviously a lot of like connections at first sight. You know, we don't talk for so long, we reconnect. So yes, guys, I love you guys. Thank you for watching, and let me know in the comments what was your favorite book that you read this month, because there's so many books out there, and let me know if you guys read any of these. But without further ado, I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.